Hey there, future scientists. Have you ever wondered what makes a lemon make you pucker up? Or why soap feels so, slippery? Well, it's not magic, it's chemistry. Today, we are diving deep into acids, bases, and salts, which is a huge topic from your Class 7 curriculum, to uncover the science behind these things we see every single day.
So, really, let's think about it for a second. That taste of a lemon is just incredibly sour. But soap, it's bitter and it feels super slippery on your hands. Now, these aren't just random facts. Nope, they're clues. And today, we're going to follow these clues to unlock the chemical secrets behind what you taste and feel. All right, so the answer to our whole sour versus soapy mystery, it really comes down to understanding two basic types of chemical substances: acids and bases. You could almost think of them like two different teams in the chemical world, and each one has its own set of special properties.
Okay, let's start with what we can just observe. On one side, we've got the acids. And fun fact, the word acid actually comes from a Latin word, acidus, which means sour. So yeah, that's their classic trademark. Then on the other side, we have the bases, and they're known for feeling slippery or kind of soapy to the touch. A perfect example would be lime water or pretty much any soap solution. Okay, but here's the big question. We all know lemons are safe to taste, right? But a chemist in a laboratory can't just go around tasting and touching every unknown chemical they find. I mean, that would be unbelievably dangerous. So how in the world do they figure out if some mystery liquid is an acid or a base? Well, they use secret chemical messengers. Okay, they're not really a secret, but they are super clever. In science, we call them indicators, and they are absolutely key to safely solving our chemical mystery. Now, before we even think about using these indicators, we have got to talk about safety. It is the number 1 rule in all of science. While lemon juice is a pretty mild acid, some of the acids in a lab are strong enough to be corrosive. And the same thing goes for bases. So handling them with care is just not optional. And what's the most basic rule? It's really simple. Always protect yourself. As our source material points out, wearing gloves is absolutely essential. It's just a simple barrier that keeps your hands safe from any chemicals that could be harmful. All right, so safety is covered. Let's get back to our secret messengers. An indicator is basically a special kind of substance that acts like a chemical spy. When you add it to a solution, it actually changes color. And that color change reveals whether the solution is an acid or a base. It's like a visual clue to a chemical's secret identity. And you know what's really cool? You can actually make one of these yourself. The China rose or Goodahall flower makes an amazing natural indicator. The whole process is super simple. You just take the petals, put them in a beaker with some warm water, and then just let them sit for about an hour. It's science you can do right in your own kitchen. But why warm water specifically? Well, it's a neat little chemistry trick. See, heat gives the water molecules more energy, and that energy helps them dissolve the colorful chemicals from the petals much, much faster. This just makes our indicator stronger and way more effective. So, we've made our indicator. Now, it's the moment of truth. It's time to put our China rose solution to the test and see how it reacts with different substances. Let's see these color changes happen. And here are the results. When you add that China rose indicator to something acidic, like lemon juice, bam, it turns this vibrant dark pink, almost a magenta. But if you add it to a basic solution, like soap water, it almost magically shifts to green. And for something that's totally neutral, like plain water, it just stays a light pink. 3 different colors, 3 very clear answers. Now, China rose is a fantastic natural indicator. But in a science lab, scientists often use another common tool for a really quick test: litmus paper. It's basically just paper that's been coated with a special dye that, you guessed it, also changes color to reveal a substance's identity. And just like with the China rose, there's a simple color rule to remember for litmus paper. Ready? Bases turn litmus blue. So if you were to test lime water, which we know is a base, that paper will turn a very distinct blue, confirming exactly what it is. Okay, so we've pretty much cracked the code on how to identify acids and bases. We're feeling good about this. But what happens if we take it one step further? What if we actually mix an acid and a base together? Do they have a big chemical fight? Do they just cancel each other out? Let's find out. And this leads us to our final and kind of epic concept: neutralization. This is the special name for the chemical reaction that happens when an acid and a base, these two chemical opposites, get mixed together.
So, what is neutralization exactly? Well, it's the specific term for the reaction between an acid and a base. And it's way more than just mixing two things together. It's a true chemical change. And that means brand new substances are actually being created.
So what are these new substances? Well, it's a surprisingly simple and predictable result. When an acid and a base react, they basically neutralize each other's properties, and they produce two things, a salt and water. This is honestly one of the most important reactions in all of chemistry. But how do we know for sure a chemical change happened? Well, our source material gives us the biggest clue. When you mix an acid and a base, the test tube actually gets hot. This release of heat is a sure sign that a new substance has been formed and a real chemical change has just happened right before your eyes.
Wow, what a journey, right? We went from sour lemons to color-changing flowers and all the way to chemical reactions that produce their own heat. Let's do a quick recap of the key things to remember from all this.
Okay, let's lock this information in. First, acids are generally sour and bases are slippery. Second, we use indicators to safely tell them apart. China rose, for instance, turns acids dark pink and bases green. And third, when you mix them, they neutralize each other. This creates salt and water and it releases heat. That's the core of it, right there.
And I'll leave you with one big question to think about. We've seen neutralization happen in a tiny test tube. But what if we scaled that up? How could this exact same reaction, an acid meeting a base, be used to solve huge environmental problems like acid rain that damages our forests and lakes? It's definitely something to think about. Thanks for joining this explainer, and remember to always keep asking questions.